Are the Arizona Cardinals about to make a big-time reunion on the offensive line? A familiar face visited the organization today. Plus, how about a depth chart for you that we can just go over, nitpick, and give our takeaways, Johnny Venerable?
It's Miho Things today on a PHNX Cardinals Monday. We're going to give you the very latest of what a Will Hernandez signing could mean, will mean, coming up right now. It's PHNX Cardinals. Hey, welcome in. Presented by our friends at Circle K. Hey, friends, it's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier, #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. We are back, fresh off a red-white scrimmage on Saturday. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's Brack. We got Nolen behind the mic. Banner Monday. Cardinals are off. We are not. Ever heard of a work ethic? We're grinding every single day, and I'm grinding with all of you. Hit that like button. My co-host in Studio K, Brack, how we living?
That's right. You can't grind all week unless you start on Monday, friends. Well, Sunday, too. That's my guy, Johnny Venerable. I take Sunday off. It's a day of rest. Merv, what's going on? How about we've got Shaft, Mr. Fat Gangster, Ryan Walker, Kojo Nation, Ozzy, Ollie, Rebel Leader, Tim. I see everybody, Steven Jackson, TC, T Cleary, Chubby, Stacks, the entire crew here. The Cinema Warden, I like that. Probably putting on lock all the good movies and all the bad movies out there. Certainly taking on one of each the last weekend. But look, we're talking some football today, friends. And then the Cardinals will be back in action tomorrow for 3 days before our first preseason action on Saturday.
Well, full coverage of that myself, Brack, in and out of studio. But before then, the Cardinals poised to make a significant roster upgrade, as reported by the NFL transaction list. And a couple people here locally picked up on it, including Darren Urban of azcardinals.com. Let's see the tweet. Noah, man. Will Hernandez came in for a visit into town. He lives here anyway. Of course, the starter at right guard for the last 3 seasons, tore his ACL. Just a month in, roughly, week 5 of the 2024 season. He's been a free agent. We've reported on this show for some time. The Cardinals, we're going to re-sign him. Mike Garafolo confirmed that this offseason, but injury, rehabbing, given his age, it just didn't line up. They re-signed Evan Brown, and then they got Isaiah Adams in the fold, and that was all she wrote until today. So we're gonna break down the layers of this, but we're also going to give you our opinion, what we believe to be true with regard to this. And if you watched Sunday's post-game show, I didn't have enough time to clip this out. We basically were asked, late in the program via Super Chat, why are people so anti-Isaiah Adams? And I said, I think it's because people want Will Hernandez back. And we've been very much of the mindset that if they were to bring him back, it would be a stash and play, break glass in case of emergency. How badly does Will Hernandez want to be a Cardinal? And I believe we believe wholeheartedly that's what's happening here. Will Hernandez just came off, just got cleared recently, right? He has not practiced at all. This would not be an instance of put him on the practice field tomorrow and he's ready to go. Do I think they'll sign him? I do. I do think they'll sign him, and I think they'll stash him. And you talk about a luxury to have him in the dog days of the season. Again, no knock on Evan Brown or Isaiah Adams, but I do think that this is you're playing the long game here, and it's a coup to the Cardinals.
Yeah, I don't know if there is really a reason to bring him in for a visit and then that not turn into a contract. It doesn't seem to me that, the representation for Hernandez would be just trying to conjure up maybe interest or anything like that. It just seems like signs are pointing towards a potential reunion for the former starting right guard. And like you think about the last 2 seasons for the Arizona Cardinals and the interior of the offensive line specifically, like year 2023, year 1, I should say, for Jonathan Gannon, you had Elijah Wilkinson go out for a couple games at that spot. Miho himself goes down last year. It's across the league. You'll be lucky if you can get through with the same group or, the majority of your offensive line without suffering injuries. So the idea that you could bring in depth, I don't even think this is like break glass in case of emergency. I mean, this is just bringing back a familiar face, familiarity of the offense, and a great rapport. Like Will Hernandez, like I don't want to just throw this around just because it's cliche, but he's family as far as the Cardinals organization goes. Like he is just ingrained as far as the new culture, was part of building it, was part of working along and not necessarily mentoring Paris Johnson Jr., but being a big key cog in his development when he started out at right tackle. So you can see all the reasons why they would do this. And I agree, like, sure, he's officially cleared to really kind of start football activities, but is he clear to play yet? That remains to be seen. But it would be a welcome, I think, addition that universally by everyone if they get Miho back.
Shout out to Tony B. Just got my diehard box. Let's go, Tony B. Love hearing that. Love hearing this news. And again, I'm sure there'll be people that push back on this podcast saying you guys didn't think that he would be brought back. I didn't think he'd be brought back in the capacity of like he's going to overtake somebody. Again, go back and watch last week's show, last weekend's show, being consistent with our take. And by the way, this is exactly what's happening. Like he has not practiced. He has not played at all. You think about Kyler Murray got cleared and how long it took him to play into November. Mm-hmm. This is Will Hernandez and his representation likely saying, I want to remain in Arizona. I'm comfortable with this staff, even, with the change at offensive line coach Clayton Adams to Justin Fry. And also like, I feel like I can do my best rehabilitation for next offseason in town. Why uproot my family and my life if really this year is just going to be about getting healthy and serving this team and until they're ready for me to come and, potentially play. But I think it's naive to assume that the offensive line is going to stay healthy. Very rarely, like we say this consistently, Bo, the defensive line has depth for days because they play a lot of guys. The offense, you don't want to play any more than 5 guys because that means you don't have that continuity that you look for. I mean, every year players go down, as you outlined. Will Hernandez himself before, 2 years or 2-3 years ago, he missed like 4 or 5 games. So this is a huge coup. Again, we expect him to be signed. This is a deal that I think will get done this week. He'll be back for, he'll be around the team, which is great. Paris Johnson Jr., as you mentioned, constantly repping the Miho Things t-shirt. And like you talk about a locker room guy, beloved by all. And I don't think for a second this puts heat or pressure on Evan Brown or Isaiah Adams. I think Isaiah Adams, your role doesn't change. You still need to learn on the fly. Your development is expedited. And Evan Brown's like, I played this position last year. Will was around. Like he will truly be offensive line depth. And if they need him, they'll use him.
Yeah. Look, the latter, what you're pointing out there is the most important thing. Like they're not going to feel threatened. Listen to the press conference bites from Jonathan Gannon when he talks about Isaiah Adams. Last week, he said he was the player of the week. He was the player of the day. You look at the video, he's going one-on-one with Darius Robinson. And Noah, keep me honest here. I think he's won each and every one of those reps, holding off the big first-round pick. I mean, guys, he's thriving. He's firmly entrenched as the starting right guard for this team. And then Evan Brown, I mean, the continuity that you would get by having him go from, year 1 to year 2, starting next to Paris Johnson Jr., I think they see value in that. And guess what? What have you heard about Evan Brown this training camp, Johnny?
Well, I don't know. What you tell me.
That's good. That's a good thing for an offensive lineman sometimes. Like Isaiah Adams, sure, there was a lot of noise going into it because people were skeptical. And it's nice to hear people, stomping and saying Isaiah Adams is the MVP of this and that. Yeah. But like Evan Brown quietly continues to hold down the job. And that's a good thing. Like if people were saying Evan Brown got abused on that rep, or I don't like what I've seen from Evan Brown, I think you would have heard it already. So it just feels like those guys are in place, and it's just like all these different positions. They like to have you've got your 2 starters, and then you got this guy that's he is starter quality that just raises the competition and absolutely raises the depth.
Like we don't have the source. Would you be surprised if like Will and his agent like instigated this or started these conversations? Wouldn't surprise me. I'm
Will Hernandez's agent in the offseason. Remember that? And like, I think that there was want for a reunion back then. There wasn't any kind of conversations at that point. But I think that Will, I talked to Will himself at the Super Bowl. We've got that video up at PHNX Sports here on YouTube. You can find the one-on-one with me and Miho where he basically said he'd like to be back. Would he like to go start somewhere? I think absolutely. And I think, is there a Hail Mary potentially between now and then, like where a team says, hey, we're willing to pay this much and give you this role when you're ready to go? I think that probably that probably would already happen before he got to the point where he's visiting the Cardinals and maybe on the precipice of a reunion.
Yeah, good points here. Positional flexibility. I mean, if Evan Brown can kick over to center for Yelda Froholt, maybe you love what you see from John Gaines thus far. If Will Hernandez is ready to go later in the year, Didi echoing these comments, can never have enough offensive linemen. We've always phrased this as the ultimate coup for this franchise if they brought him back, because it would not be an indictment of the folks that are already in-house. And I think, honestly, perfect timing. When you think about the comments made by Gannon, unprompted, on Isaiah Adams, and the fact that he was the MVP potentially of most impressive player of camp a week ago. And then, as you mentioned, Evan Brown is going to end up potentially starting like 34 games at left guard the last 2 years for the Cardinals if he is healthy this year, knock on wood. And then you're just like, oh, by the way, Will wants to come back and we're going to sign him. And we're going to put him on PUP. He's going to work out with the team, and he's going to get healthy and get right. And then we'll be able to judge whether or not he's ready to be activated during the year. And then he'll be the 6th offensive lineman. And then we'll go from there. This is we're going to take it one day at a time, one step at a time. And again, I know Bo and I are jumping to the conclusion that he signs. But again, if you're just joining us, we believe this will result in a contract. Probably a contract that's incentive laden, not vet minimum. But I mean, the Cardinals have over $30 million. You don't want to insult the man, especially if he came to you and said, I want to be here. What can we do? Yeah. But he's only 29. Linemen hit the market every year at 30 years old and get paid. So I think this is just Will doing maybe a favor for the Cardinals, and then maybe they're going to do a favor for him next free agency, getting him healthy and pubbing him up to the rest of the league, unless they want to keep him back.
We've established that we don't think it's is a shot across the bow of or anything close to that of your starters in Adams and Evan Brown.
Yeah.
Who is this bad news for potentially today? When you look down the depth chart, obviously, I mean, when you think about it, as you mentioned, you got your 5 starters. You got Calvin Beachum, who's your swing that you got a lot of confidence in after his season last year, and then Will Hernandez potentially. So like potentially you've got 7 deep there. You've got a good
Hayden Connor. Not good for him.
I agree. Yep. And I haven't seen much to say like, hey, there's something that you can build on. Like Hayden Connor, probably the best thing for him would be to be practice squad and get kind of a red shirt year.
It's a 6th rounder.
Yeah. Jonathan Gaines, interesting. I mean, I know he's got a versatile role, and he's also kind of the backup center. So could he continue to have his spot just because he's got that center versatility? And then you start like Christian Jones as a tackler, so you don't think about that. So when you just try to do the numbers crunch, like I agree. I think 2025 6th round pick Hayden Connor probably doesn't bode well for him.
But like PUP doesn't count against your roster in the regular season, and they can, again, they're going to have the rights to Will Hernandez. They're going to have the right to stash him. They're in a unique spot because they have the relationships formed. I think we'll see Will Hernandez activated in probably 8 to 10 weeks. So like, I think we'll see him. You'll see him around the facility. I think people, I'm sure that maybe they'll do a press conference and people will be excited, and rightfully so. Like there's a lot of excitement around this. It's not excitement in terms of, or it shouldn't be perceived this way. Everybody has the right to be excited. And like, you know what? Because I saw this before camp and before Gannon's comments or early in camp, like, what are we doing screwing around with Isaiah Adams? I think that's dead now. I think people understand you're a draft and develop team. This kid is having a hell of a camp. The head coach loves him. Will Hernandez returning is a depth move for the season. And this is, we're living and dying with every training camp practice. Can these guys be healthy for a flipping preseason game against the Chiefs? Like 17 weeks is so long. And the Cardinals offensive line at the end of last year, I mean, how many starters they have left? I mean, Paris was on injured reserve and Will Hernandez was gone. I mean, it was rough. Jonah Williams was gone. Yeah. So again, this is a move, in my opinion, to signify the rest of the NFC West. Like, we're loading up. We're not going to screw around. We're not going to have guys not ready to go into this is a relationship that we've cultivated, and Gannon took a chance and awesome for it on Will when he said, I want to come back. I love it in Arizona. I was here for 1 year under Cliff. Can I come back? And they're like, hell yeah. And it was a great partnership. And so this is what separates, in my opinion, this regime from prior regimes, is that they were able to cultivate this relationship. Will Hernandez, I don't want to say this like wholeheartedly, but like might be walking away from some money by doing this. You don't know that. We don't know that. So again, happy for him, happy for Cardinal fans, because this already deep roster just gets that much deeper, assuming he does, which we think he will.
It does. It just, you look at it and you have a lot of confidence. And now, like you're pointing out, you got to get healthier. Same thing goes for BJ Ojulari in the pass rush room. Like, you've got all like this, that room looks really good. Yeah. And you can also add this really talented player to it once he comes back. I mean, then you're saying, that room looks way better. And I even really originally thought. So it's same thing goes for the D-line room. Like what we've seen in training camp. Oh yeah, you've been doing that without the 16th overall pick, Walter Nolen. It's like the Cardinals just have talented players on their roster, and they're not willing to kind of turn their nose up just because somebody doesn't have a clean bill of health, because they know that there's going to be a time that comes when, to steal from JG, their health bucket is filled up, and then they can focus on the football bucket, they fill that up, and then they're ready to go and contribute to this football team or compete and raise the competition level like we've been seeing. So it's a good day in Birdland for the Cardinals to have this type of reunion, to where I think, I thought his market would have been more robust, and maybe it was, and maybe it's just a loyalty that he felt to the organization. But I don't want to get romantic. It's just straight, speculation at this point.
How many fraud Cowboy fans said, "Well, we're getting Will Hernandez when
I tweeted out, just his saying on Instagram he was officially cleared." Cincinnati Bengals, that entire fan base seemed to interact with my post saying like, sign him, next Bengal, and this and that. And still no deal with Cincinnati. And the talent on that roster outside of the wide receivers and quarterback and running back, it's thin.
It's bad. They have a bad team. Not a good team. Will Hernandez en route to the desert, we believe, the visit that could signify signing imminently. What's the latest on Walter Nolen's recovery? Plus, we're going to take a look on the depth chart, the first non-official, official one handed out by the team ahead of this weekend. Bo and I have some takes. That's coming up. It's PHNX Cardinals. Fired up here for a football Monday, in part because it's really hot out. And so if you want to extend your outdoor living space, check out our friends right now at All Pro Shades Concepts. Hundreds of designs, colors to choose from to match any home. Again, they can work with your HOA for approvals. Plus, they've got motorized, retractable with remote control, LED lighting, and more. Roll down patio shades to block out the sun. Keep the patio up to 20 degrees cooler. Hundreds of colors, durable fabric to withstand the Arizona sun. Choose from manual to motorized, sealed, track, or cable shades. In the winter, drop-down shades can create an outdoor living area that keeps the cold and wind out and the warm air in. How about it? Again, most trusted, locally owned and operated shades company, #1 in the Valley, rated by Patio Shades in 2024. They've got the triple BA+ rating, over 1,000 5-star reviews, licensed, bonded, and insured. Give them a call right now. They can get you a free estimate, 623-204-1476. That's 623-204-1476. Visit allproshadesconcepts.com today.
You ever just look at your bank account after a couple of weeks getting paid and you're not paying too close attention to your daily transactions, and you say, where did all my money go? It's kind of a sobering day, right? And you say, I spent way too much money on meal service deliveries and streaming services. What's going on here? Well, Monarch Money is going to help clean that up, but it's more like a personal CFO right on your smartphone or on your computer. Yeah, Monarch Money is going to help you not just save money, but build wealth. It's unbelievable. It's Wall Street Journal's one of their top budgeting apps that you can have right now. And over 30,000 people have rated 5 stars online right now. Check it out, and check it out for half the cost at monarchmoney.com and use the code PHNX. That's right. The code PHNX at monarchmoney.com is going to give you access for half the cost for a full entire year. You even get the Sharecraft's Financial Advisor Tax Pro. No extra cost for when you're dealing with your finances at Monarch Money. Get control of your overall finances with Monarch Money. Use the code PHNX at monarchmoney.com in your browser to get half off the first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code PHNX.
Big thanks to everybody watching live. 350 on a football Monday. Let's go. Hit that like button. It helps us out tremendously. I'm going to tell you right now, if you are in the area, again, August 28th, this is a free event. Bo and I, our whole crew, Gila River Resorts and Casinos, Thursday, August 28th at the Upper Deck Kitchen and Bar. We want to party with you. We're going to have our standard live show at 4:30. Then we're going to have a season preview exclusive to the folks in attendance, open Q&A, having some drinks, some food. Again, free 99. Come and hang out with us. And then lastly, we're going to have our 7 p.m. fantasy football draft for the PHNX Sports Faithful. Twofold. Shaft is running the one with our diehards. So again, contact Shaft. You're in the area. If it's not full yet. And then, of course, we're going to have ours with PHNX Sports. Espo, Saul, Bo, myself, Kev, Damon, the whole gang, Totri, Derek, everybody's going to be in the house. This is going to be a PHNX takeover of Gila. We want to party with you. I'm sure we're going to be giving out. I'm just guessing. Max Sixton, who won our fantasy league last year fraudulently, I'm sure he's going to be giving out goodies. If not, I'm going to make him. But yeah, it's going to be a banner night to kick off football season.
I'd like to. I forget that Max won the fantasy football league.
Like
it really is. It's such a crapshoot once you get to kind of the playoffs.
Yeah,
really is. It's just blind squirrel finding a nut every once in a while. It's really shows no skill whatsoever.
Yeah, that it was bad news when he won. Here's some good news. So, Bo, you listed this on Twitter late after the red and white scrimmage. This is from Walter Nolen. Bo says, message from the Cardinals first round pick, be right back, as he comes off potentially of PUP with a calf injury. And so give you a little bit more information regarding Walter's recovery, which is going well, as you see from this graphic that he posted. Will Hernandez, or excuse me, Will Johnson commented on it. He looks good walking around. Bo, you mentioned every time you see him, the compression sleeve on his leg, his calf gets smaller, which I thought was funny. And this is what this podcast is prepared to tell you. We're hearing like Cardinals are not going to put him on injured reserve to open up the season. At least they don't plan to. So like, if you're sitting here and saying, is he going to play week 1? I don't know. Bo can speak to what he knows, but like the panic of this is going to be another Darius Robinson who missed multiple weeks. I think he missed 6 to 8 weeks to start the season. Yeah. They are not going to put him on injured reserve as of right now. He's going. I would imagine he's going to practice pretty soon.
It certainly feels like it. It seems like there's momentum, going that way. That Walt is getting out on his social channels and saying, "Hey, be right back. Be there in a sec." Right. And then he hasn't been hidden at all. Like we've seen Walter Nolen consistently, just join and watch practice with his teammates and have that, the calf be wrapped in some sort of, whether it's compression pants or now it's just a little sleeve, and who knows, maybe it'll be a little anklet sock, who knows, by this upcoming week, or could it be closer to him getting off the pup and getting out there on the grass in the practice field? But it just feels like, imminent would be the word. And I don't mean imminent as far as this upcoming week, or, could he be playing? Could he still maybe see some preseason action? I think that might be a little far fetched at this point, just because he has to get into football shape. But it feels like they're not telegraphing it, but they're not hiding from the fact that they could be with their first round pick before the start of the season. But look, a lot has to go right. I think it's one of those things, especially with the calf. It's not linear. It's not something that you can just kind of expect. Hey, it was this way on Monday. It's going to be this way on Tuesday. They're going to have to feel it out. But it seems like things are going well for, kind of a shocking injury to start camp.
Again, I love the comments in the chat, people alluding to like what it's going to look like to see he and Darius out there, which I'm sure the Cardinals are salivating at.
Yeah.
And listen, we're still like a month away. As much as I would love for the season to start, I'm counting on my phone right now. I'm not a good counter. We're like a month away from the season still, or almost 5 weeks away from the season. So if you think about that, it's like, even if he takes like the next 2 weeks off or 10 days off, I mean, he's going to have, think about Kyler Murray needed, and we always go, this is the barometer. Kyler Murray needed 3 weeks of practice before they activated him. They took the entirety of the time off the putt before they had to IR him. I think he needs like 2 weeks of practice. And then if he misses the Saints week, then that's a third. And then the next week he'd be activated. I don't expect this to go past New Orleans if it goes into the regular season. And again, like you talk about where we were when the injury happened, we were kind of led to believe it wasn't as bad. And then you've got rap sheets saying, who knows? His recovery is going well. I would be excited by the fact that we could see him as early as week 1, but I don't think it's going to be much longer if he misses that game.
Yeah, but there isn't like this kind of cloak of not knowing, where I think there was, as far as things went with D-Rob, there wasn't a whole lot that you couldn't know. You just had to feel it out.
His mom's situation too. It was just a really unfortunate.
It was terrible
situation.
It's as far as Nolen, it seems like there's you don't know the timeline exactly, but you feel confident that it's something. And when it happened, it was before training camp, where Darius, it was after the rosters were set, and
he played a preseason game. He played. He was out there.
I think it was the first practice or so after.
It was in Tempe.
Yeah, it was in Tempe. So this is good news that you got your guy on IG just getting people hyped up about seeing the 16th overall pick. And you think about how good this defense has been through camp, and the idea that you can add this guy, this versatile piece that can play basically every position on the defensive line. And he's racks up numbers, and he's got this energy and this violence that he plays with, and you couple that with Calais and Darius and Dalvin. It's exciting to think about. He
is already beloved by his teammates and his coaches. Not that Darius wasn't. They needed so much more from Darius last year. Like I talked to Israel Wilford at Kyler Murray's softball game. I've told this story before, and it's like when you hear Walter Nolen hit a bag in practice, it just sounds different. And then like everything we've heard from his teammates is they love him to death. He's a kid, but he's bought in, says and does all the right things. All the trash that you heard pre-draft, people like, that's naive. It's not true. I mean, you talk about, we're going to dog on the Niners later in this show, and maybe the Rams. The Cardinals are in the precipice of reactivating the 16th overall pick, who should have been a top pick. They stole their second rounder. And oh, by the way, they've got Will Hernandez on the verge of signing a stash and go deal. I mean, this is a pretty good streak right now. Knock on wood, nobody else go down. But this is what we like to call, you got to have this kind of hot streak before a pivotal season, no doubt about it.
I mean, odds say you're not going to make it out scot-free, right? And that's fine. That's the nature of the game. But it's pretty interesting. Like, I think my takeaway from the first couple practices with Nolen, I was like, it sounds different, but when Israel Warfork says it, that's when you pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, and super complimentary of the human, which is what matters.
It's like I say it, it's just like in one ear and out the other. Well, Izzy Wolfork says it, and he's like, oh wow. How about it's different when Walter Nolen hits the sled.
Izzy and I are close. Like this button, over 400 watching live. Will Johnson is a starter on the depth chart. We're breaking it down. Plus, what's going on? Zay Jones, co-starter? What's happening? PHNX Cardinals rolls on a Monday. So flipping fired up right now. I just want to go and gamble all my money away. Here's the good news. Yeah, like peak gambling season has returned. We don't have to slum it just with Diamondback baseball right now, which times are tough. You're probably been making a lot of money betting against the Diamondbacks. But here's what's going to happen. Preseason full slate this weekend, including the Arizona Cardinals. Bo, do you have the Cardinals line right now via our friends at Bet365 ahead of this weekend?
Let's take a look. I'll have it up here in just a second with the Bet365 app, because it's So convenient. Let me
Yeah.
hit it up.
I think it was -2 KC the last time I checked. Jumping around there.
There you go. The -2.5.
-2.5. So again, but you know, Kyle Odegaard said Cardinals Super Bowl odds improving by the day. So listen, I don't mess with future odds because I'm impatient. I want instant gratification. But the best way that I'm going to do future odds for the NFL season with bonus bets, because I'm playing with house money and you can too. New customers with Bet365 can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 win or lose. Sign up, use the bonus code PHNX365, deposit 10, place a bet $5. You're going to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Again, sign up today. You got to be an Arizona resident, 21 years and older, physically located here in AZ. If you were someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problem.az.gov for more information.
You can make your way into that preseason game on Saturday for the low price of $18. Yeah, you can go watch Patrick Mahomes, potentially the Arizona Cardinals, go to battle with the Kansas City Chiefs, players trying to make a roster, preseason action, State Farm Stadium. Game Time has it for as low as $18. Tough to beat that. How about a Merc game? You don't want to go see the Mercury? You can get in for $6. Oh, yeah. How about the D-backs? They got tickets going on last call. You can get in right now for $25. You into music? Is that your thing? How about Chris Stapleton this Friday? Go see the Stapes. Wedding song was Stapleton. Benson Boone, that guy's going to be here. Lainey Wilson. Lincoln Park is apparently back. You can go see them in September for $69. The point is, Game Time is the one and only app that you're going to want to get the lowest price guaranteed on all the tickets. Check them out right now and save even more money by just listening or viewing PHNX Sports, because you use the code PHNX, you get $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today, sign up for free, and get $20 off your first purchase just for watching PHNX Cardinals. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Big thanks to all of our sponsors, all of you out there. Hammer that like button. I want to shout out a super chat here as we went to break. It's from our guy Osmar 102 $4.99. Just became a diehard today because of you guys. Hopefully I can join the fantasy draft. Keep up the great work, guys. You're the best in the business. We appreciate you, my friend. Tag us on Twitter. Immediate retweet, immediate follow from the beat account. We want all of our peers here at PHNX Sports to know of our newest diehard. And again, you can join the fun. $36 for the entire year. Pick out a free piece of merch, t-shirt, get in the Discord, have fun, and check out all of our diehard notes that Bo and I have been cranking out at gophnx.com. So, Osmar, we appreciate you, my friend. Unbelievable stuff. We love welcoming new diehards, and it's just great. It's just great to be a part of this community and celebrate this team we watch. We love watching play each and every Sunday, Thursday, Monday, every once in a while, maybe a Saturday. But look, it's let's talk some ball as we do, and you're talking at 24/7, the exclusive member Discord, only access to that. Die Hard. It's the best. What was going to lead the show today, before we got the Will Hernandez nugget, is depth chart dropping from the team, unofficial, and they have been known to tweak. But here it is. Let's check out the offensive depth chart, Bo, which by and large has some interesting nuggets here. Of course, we see the offensive line largely unchanged. Jonah Williams at right tackle. Isaiah Adams, as we talked about, the starter at right guard. 3 receivers set, however, and we alluded to this last week. Zay Jones has eclipsed Greg Dortch. Zay Jones has had a great camp. It's not an indictment on Greg. Just fits the skill set that Drew Petzing wants from receiver. He's got, bigger height-weight ratio advantage and, straight line speed. He and Kyler Murray have good rapport. So, again, anything else stand out for this offensive depth chart? No, I mean, let's stick there with the Zay Jones and Greg Dortch here, and both of them highlighted here on this depth chart, where, Zay Jones is a guy that's had as high as 800 yards receiving in a single season in his career, where Greg Dortch, as much as he's electric with the ball in his hands, you haven't seen those types of numbers. I mean, Zay Jones is an established wide receiver, and now second season entering this system, and also not having to deal with the baggage that he brought in with the 5-game suspension, missing 6 total. I think that this is a guy with knowledge and familiarity now, is somebody that is going to just earn himself some more playing time. And I think that's why you see this there. Not an indictment on Dortch. No. But what do we know about Drew Petzing? Likes big-bodied receivers. Now you have 3 big body receivers, 4 if you include Trey McBride there, that opposing defenses are going to have a tough time covering.
Yeah, I think Zay would have had a really nice year with the Cardinals had it not been for the suspension last year, and he's doubling down on that, and he's benefiting from, Michael and Marv missing a couple practices, but again, he was already solidified in our mind as wide receiver 3, and again, like you look behind him, Xavier Weaver, we feel like is very much going to make this team. If they carry 5 wide receivers, it's going to be Weaver, Dortch, Zay Jones, and then the 2 starters, Harrison Jr. and Michael Wilson.
I'll give you your flowers here. I wasn't paying that close attention to the Jones thing. Like I thought, even with Dortch, even if that was the case, that they would give him the respect. It doesn't matter to this organization. I don't think it matters to the players involved either. I think they both know that they're going to get run in this offense, but this is telling. I mean, this is telling. And you were on the Zay Jones. You were aware of this.
I came to camp for like 4 days, and I'm like, Zay Jones was catching like touchdowns every day I was there, and he was playing outside receiver. And I was like, where's Greg? And we kind of saw a little bit of that in OTAs, but the more that you see Greg in, not trick plays and gimmick plays, that's an insult to Greg Dortch, who's a damn good football player.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's in the backfield. Well, like, okay, you're going to have James Conner in the backfield in 3 receiver sets for the most part. He's going to return, punts and is going to be back there with DJ Dallas on kickoffs maybe. Like, he's a special teamer and a part-time contributor offensively. I just, unless there's an injury, I think the dream of Greg Dortch being a big-time contributor offensively for this franchise is over. And if you're Greg, I can understand the frustration. The Cardinals have owned your rights for 2 years. They're paying you about $1 million to $2 million a year. He could go out and go to a wide receiver friendly scheme. I mean, hell, he might reunite with Cliff. He might have gone to Washington. You never know. Mm-hmm. Reunite with Cliff Kingsbury. Like, he'll hit free agency this offseason. We'll be excited that hopefully Greg gets paid because he's a damn good player and he's been part of this network. Zay Jones is exactly what they want, though. If they draft a receiver, if they sign a receiver in 2026, 2027, it's the same regime that they're going to profile guys that are 6 foot or bigger. They've got big arms, right? They're lengthy people. Zay, Marvin, and Michael. I mean, Michael and Zay are closer together. Marvin's a freak of his own right, but like they want big people. Kyler is the only outlier because he's a special player quarterback. Everything else, big at tight end, big at offensive lineman, big at receiver. Like this, Drew Petzing took that from Cleveland and brought that here and said, this is how we're going to operate. And oh, by the way, like when your quarterback is 5'10", 5'11", 5'10", you need big receivers. Like the naiveness and the stupidity, frankly, of flushing Kyler Murray with guys who are my size in terms of height-wise and thinking that's going to work in the NFL. I don't care how fast you run. I mean, it's just you can't have a quarterback and a receiving combination that are under 6 foot consistently. That's going to work. So, that's a lot to say. Zay Jones has earned it, and I don't know what a great year looks like for him. Maybe like 400 or 500 yards. But he's going to be in there a lot. He's going to play a lot. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Our guy, Michael Carter, at the bottom of the depth chart, running back again. It's just
pouring out.
It's the status quo. And like, if you use last year for any information on this, like, I think that this is how they're going to run with it. Four running backs on the active roster with Connor and Benson, Dermicado, and then DJ Dallas in his role for special teams. So who would you say is hurting the most as far as this offensive depth chart?
I mean, it's Greg Dortch, but in terms of like,
I think he has a role though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we talked about Hayden Connor if they sign Will Hernandez, but like Tajon Palmer last year, was he practice squad or was he active? Yeah, he was practice squad. So like, not the worst thing in the world. I just, this offense, they ran back everybody. They're literally running back everybody now if they sign Will Hernandez. Like, There was, if you're a draft pick or a free agent signing or a developmental guy, there aren't opportunities for you. Yeah. I mean, Clayton Tune's about to be released, unfortunately for Clayton. Like, that's just the offense is the offense. The more intriguing side of the ball is the defensive side of the ball, in my opinion. Yeah,
let's go to the defensive side of the football on the depth chart. An official depth chart according to the team. Here's your first team defense. Defensive linemen, you got 3 of them starting, Johnny. Darius Robinson, Dalvin Tomlinson, Calais Campbell. Then you got Josh Sweat and Zaven Collins as your outside linebackers. Offense or off-ball linebacker, Mac Wilson Sr., ADG, Akeem Davis-Gaither gets the nod here. Your corners, outside, Max Melton, Will Johnson, and then, of course, because they value the slot position, they have Garrett Williams as a 12th starter on defense, and then JT and Buda Baker in the safety spots. Anything stand out to you?
We'll talk about Will Johnson here a little bit. I'll give you flowers because we're talking about Baron Browning and Jordan Birch, right? And who's going to emerge? You're like, well, I don't know who it's going to be, but I know they're going to put Zaven Collins as a starter at opposite Josh Sweat. So my co-host has been on that, but what's the money downs, third down, who's going to be out there? It's going to be Baron Browning, who's having a great camp, by the way. Akeem Davis-Gaither, again, I think this is a placeholder. I've seen Owen Papo and Cody Simon log just as many, if not more, snaps. I think Owen Papo's actually had the most snaps. Again, this is just like we're playing the long game here. We got 4 or 5 more weeks to figure this out, and the Cardinals run a hell of a lot more than I thought. Single linebacker sets for off-ball backers. Here's one thing that stands out to me, and we knew that this kid would come in, and he's played a lot of snaps at the collegiate level, and he's refined, and he may be limited physically, although I don't think so. Denzel Burke has clearly leapfrogged Elijah Jones, the third rounder last year, he's up and down. I mean, he's got a long way to go. Like, is Denzel Burke corner 4? Is he CB4 right now? I don't know if I trust Jalen Jones. Keitrell Clark, as you know, Bo, he's got to make some strides here. It's a paint by numbers position and probably benefited from some guys going down, unfortunately. Denzel Burke, to me, I mean, ideally you don't want a bunch of rookies at corner when you're trying to win a division, but I would be very encouraged if I was him, seeing my name that high on the depth chart after just 2 or 3 weeks of practice.
Well. If only when somebody had the inkling that Denzel Burke could be that third guy in that outside corner rotation. But look, Keitrell Clark's right there.
Yeah.
Keitrell Clark's right there. And then, as you mentioned, Jones a little bit further than I think a lot of people wanted third round pick being. But look, he's got a lot of ground to make up after missing his entire rookie season last year. But Denzel Burke competes, man, and he's a guy that has experience playing this style of defense, this style of coverage. I think he knows where his eyes need to go, and he's got a national championship on his resume coming from Ohio State. I think Denzel Burke, you benefited from him falling in the 5th round, but there's a lot of confidence in him, and he's very competitive out there. I like him to be that third guy in the outside corner room. I mean, you got your big 3, you got your guys on the starting depth chart in Will and Max and Garrett, and then you got this third guy in Denzel Burke, who I think is going to see some snaps.
I'm going to tell you one thing I don't know if I'd read a ton into. Let's take a look at the D-line one more time if we could, Noah. Let's look at the defense here. Elijah Simmons is like 4th on the depth chart. I wouldn't read too much into that. First of all, the Cardinals run a lot of 4-base defensive lineman sets. I think the first 3 guys, Stills and Collier, are safe. Justin Jones, we don't know. Walter Nolen is safe. I think Elijah Simmons has a chance to be like the backup nose tackle to Dalvin Tomlinson. But again, we've talked about this every show, Bo. It's like, what kind of combination? Yeah. Where could they go heavy in? Where could they go lighter? Literally, if Tomlinson's not in there, can Jones or Collier fill that role? Simmons is going to be around this organization one way or the other this year, unless he gets claimed off a practice squad. But I don't think Elijah Simmons is behind PJ or some of these other guys. I think it's just out of respect. Let's see Elijah Simmons this weekend against Kansas City. It goes pretty deep with their interior offensive line. So people are going to look at that and run with it and be like, oh, he's not having a good a camp as you guys are making it out to be. No, I disagree. He's likely number 2 on the depth chart at nose tackle. This is just taking care of the vets.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of that little niche he's got as far as this defense and the position he plays is true nose, what they value. They know Dalvin can play there. I think there's some thought that you can get some snaps from Walter Nolen there.
Yeah.
If I were to go like Tony Stark on this and I'm just moving things around in my big futuristic computer,
you're smart.
And I'm going on the depth chart, and I'm working with Jarvis, and I'm like, all right, once Walter Nolen, once he gets healthy, you put him in here for Justin Jones.
Yeah.
Then you got your 6 guys. You got your 3 starters: Calais, Dalvin, D-Rob, and then you got your backups. You've got LJ Collier. You've got Walter Nolen the third, and then you've got Dante Stills. Those are your 6, and that's how I kind of see that playing. And you're right, like behind that, is it moot? Like, does it matter? Like PJ Mustipher and Elijah Simmons, I would imagine if they wanted a practice squad, one of them, it's going to be Simmons over a guy like Mustipher, who was on the practice squad last year, even though they really appreciate his work ethic. He was a guy that, I think Gannon had pointed out was in the facility on July 4th.
That's right.
They got depth for days at defensive line, and it's such a refreshing thing to say. But the way I see it, I think like I think it's inevitable once Walter Nolen gets back in there, the 6, he cracks the top 6, and that's the way you should kind of look at your defensive line.
Yeah, agreed. And again, we expect Walter Nolen not going to start the year on IR. He's going to be in that group to begin the season when they announce their 53-man roster. Okay, if you're carrying 7 and we feel like Collier and Stills are safe, is Justin Jones that 7th? Is Elijah Simmons that 7th? It's a numbers game, and it's an unfortunate one for some of these fringe guys that are good NFL players that would have made this roster in years prior. Bo, you got anything to say about some special teamers, my guy?
Ooh, let's take a look. Special team depth chart. No, this is about as straightforward as it gets. No changes, and it's just boring third phase stuff. Rylan, Blake, Gillikin. I like the kicking contingent there. Aaron Brewer, you know what you're going to get from the long snapper. DJ Dallas, your kick returner. Greg Dortch, your punt returner. Copy, paste, move on.
Again, it's a group that, I thought Blake Gillikin looked good over the weekend. I thought their special teams are just...
I think Blake Gillikin is a really good punter.
He is. They're just so well coached. And again, we don't talk about it very much. I mean, we talked about it a lot when Bruce Arians was around because that unit stunk. It cost them playoff spots. So they got a hell of a special teams coordinator. You saw last year, won them games. So, and then like Keitrell Clark and Denzel Burke aren't going to be playing a lot of outside corner right now. What are they going to be doing? Covering kicks. I mean, I like that combination. Keaton Crawford looks good. Looks the part out there, a 7th rounder. Guess what he did at a high level at Texas before transferring to Nevada? Covering kickoffs, laying people out.
He still did it there. He still did it for the Wolfpack too.
Right.
And that's one thing I've been kind of holstering. It's not something I just wanted to bring to the show because, it goes back to the conversation that Ari Marov had with Monty Ossenfort this offseason about how kind of Monty got on the radar of Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
And it was a scouting report he had on Matthew Slater, who's one of the greatest special teamers in the history of the game for the Patriots. And Belichick asked Monty straight up, like, would you draft Matthew Slater in the 5th round as strictly a special teams player? And I think of that, and I see it could have been, and they got him in the 7th round, Keaton Crawford. Like, they see a role for him. And could he earn himself a roster spot because of it? I absolutely think so. And they got some guys. Like, they got some guys that are really talented that you had higher aspirations for that because of the talent on this roster are going to be put on special teams. But then you got the guys like Joey Blunt and Keaton Crawford that really can thrive there. Like, we've seen, I think Tayshaun Palmer's been playing some good special teams as well. But, like, is that going to be enough to get him on the roster and off the practice squad? Yeah, we'll see. Probably not.
Yeah, I'll tell you definitively too. Like, you lose Lucetta and Dumakaja and those guys, Gardak. Like, those were the guys on special teams over the last half decade. You got to rebuild that core, right? And they'll feel that maybe early this year. But again, finding guys to carve out the role. I'm anxious to see how those units do. It's one of the units where you feel like a lot of the guys that are going to be playing during the year are going to be playing in the preseason. Although we think that could be changing this year. Here's a fixture, the secondary, Will Johnson. Let's talk a little Will Johnson and more right around the corner. It's PHNX Cardinals. Fired up, hungry, by the way. If you're hungry and you don't want to spend an outrageous amount of money, you want to save your money for maybe some Cardinal tickets, check out our friends at Circle K. They've got the $3, $4, and $5 meal deal, which are elite, by the way. If you remember the Inner Circle, you know all about them. How about a hot dog, Frito-Lay's chips, and a Polar Pop, $3? That reminds me of like going to like concession stands as a kid in high school, little league. It's like, I want a hot dog, some chips, and a drink for $3. Where else can you get that right now? How about a $4 meal deal This will get you going. I might get this on my way to the facility on Wednesday. $4 deal, breakfast Sammy, hash brown, and any 16-ounce coffee, Polar Pop, Bang energy drink, or C4. That'll rev up your engine. $5 meal deal. 2 slices of za, 20-ounce soda, Polar Pop, 44 ounces. How about it? Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply, Bo. At participating locations, visit CircleK.com for more details.
You're saving them money. I'm going to save people money by getting their flooring needs locked in with Empire today. And how about $350 right off the top? $350 off new flooring from Empire today. That's going to make it quick, easy, convenient as far as your flooring needs. Get you upgraded right away, right? And they got the pros that are going to give you the insight that you need that you're not going to find at the big box stores. You're going to just go wander aimlessly, and there's going to be somebody that says, I work in the flooring department, but to be honest with you, I'm just counting the hours until I can go home. And that's not the case with Empire today. They take their flooring seriously, whether it's hardwoods, laminate, tile, carpeting. They're going to get you set up. They're going to set you up, whatever dwelling it may be. Get your smartphone out as well. Utilize that at their website, empiretoday.com. Take advantage of their virtual floor designer. You can look what the floors would look like in your dwelling. Check it out right now and save big. Schedule a free in-home estimate today with some things, of course, that are better at home and free. Check it out. Being a listener of PHNX, you get that $350 discount with the promo code PHNX. You heard that right. $350 discount code PHNX. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/PHNX for full details.
Appreciate everybody watching. We got 425. Again, hammer that like button. The goal every day, 500 likes here. Subscribe to PHNX. Smash it, baby. We're fired up here in part because the Arizona Cardinals stole Will Johnson, the 47th overall pick. It was great to see Will getting his flowers, the talk of NFL Twitter over the weekend for his diving interception over Zay Jones off of Kyler Murray. And again, I saw a lot of narratives on Twitter about, hey, let's pump the brakes on Will Johnson. We don't know how his knee's going to hold up. Spare me that conversation. You're allowed to enjoy a really good player from the Cardinals, especially when they steal him. And I may have posted something that kind of poked the bear a little bit over the weekend. Let's see it, Noah, man. The Arizona Cardinals famously got Will Johnson at pick 47. Not many people are talking about this. Terrence Ferguson going to the LA Rams, pick 46. Again, they, I believe, traded up for him. By the way, Terrence Ferguson right now out at Rams practice, suddenly injured and not participating, including the combination with he and Matthew Stafford, who has not practiced yet. So that's fresh hell that we're going to continue to monitor. But people are like, slow your horses. He could still be really good. I'm just going to tell everybody right now, even if Will Johnson is just a good player, Terrence Ferguson would have to become Trey McBride for this to have worked out for the LA Rams. I'm going to grave dance on this until I am proven wrong. This is going to look bad for the LA Rams. Again, I don't think they have good corners to begin with. They could have easily slided Arizona, who wanted this player, and they took in a tight end draft that was largely picked clean in the first round, a kid that was on very few people's radar, Bo Brock.
Ferguson, 591 receiving in 12 games, 400 the previous season, under 400 before that. He's an athletic kid. He's got long arms. He does a lot of things that they like, but he's never been a guy that's been ultra productive at the spot.
Yeah.
You chose him over starting corner, a guy who projects as a starting corner in this league. So, Rams can just do that. In McVay we trust, and Les Snead has been on a heater since McVay got into that room. Not so much before that, but sometimes you make moves and you provide an opportunity for another team in your division to kind of catch up. I think that's one of them. Cardinals, just pound for pound, you look at their second round pick was one of their division rivals, and I think they have the edge.
Well, we talk about it. Anytime you take a tight end high, fair or not, the expectations got to be you got to be a damn good player. You can't just be, hey, this guy's good. We're going to give him a nice extension, maybe pick up his fifth-year option. That's right, Rebel Leader. There is. The Chicago Bears enabled Walter Nolen to fall because they took the number 2 tight end in the class 10th overall. It was a gross overdraft. The expectations that you're putting on guys, and again, Turd Ferguson compared to what was the kid that the Bears took 10th overall? I can't even remember.
Oh yeah, Colston Loveland.
Colston Loveland, like Colston Loveland, it's just in a different stratosphere with expectations.
I saw some nerd keyboard warrior who was took exception to your love for Will Johnson, and they said, Turd Ferguson this or that, and like they wanted to take him 20 spots higher. Like,
I saw that comment.
That
doesn't make it better.
That's not a good argument. That's actually a worse argument. Why would they want to take this guy who's never been super productive in the first round? But you guys do you, Les Snead and Sean McVay, and you guys have been consistently good in the draft, really good, especially beyond the first round, because they really haven't had first round picks during McVay's tenure. But at the same time, like they aren't they are capable of missing too.
Ask yourself this, fraudulent Ram fans, all 6 of you out there, what would be the narrative right now if the Rams had taken Will Johnson and Will Johnson was doing this at Rams camp? I would have a barf bag next to me every day when we would do this show. We would not be able to stomach it. I would be physically ill because everybody and Cynthia Freeland and everybody'd be at SoFi and they'd be like, look what they did. They stole Will Johnson at pick 46. But God forbid we post a couple highlights of what is potentially going to be the best corner this franchise has had since Patrick Peterson, who, by the way, we just had his name retired for the franchise. And we can't be excited about it because people were concerned about a medical thing that came up coincidentally right before the draft. Like, spare me that trash. I hear the 49er rhetoric every day about, I love Albert Breer. He's out there. He's like, man, the Niners, they got a good rookie class. It needs to be great for them to be good this year. It's like, Albert, say that louder for the people in the back. They have no depth on their team.
Right.
And the Cardinals are trotting out the 47th overall pick, and he is unequivocally thus far the best corner in this draft. I'm sorry. No tight end from Timbuktu is going to be able to supersede that. I don't care how good he is. He would have to be the equivalent of Trey McBride for this not to work out. And by the way, Will Johnson would also have to go off a cliff. Will Johnson would have to get hurt. It'd have to be over for Will. Yeah. Does anybody think that's happening? No.
I love that. I love that about Twitter. X. It's like, hey, look at this nice play from this player. It's like, well,
it's like, I know they're an elite franchise. They have an elite head coach and their GM does some good things, but you took a tight end over Will Johnson. I'm allowed to point that out and be like, hey, Will looks flipping awesome. Like, you guys don't need me to tell you that. Look at the highlight. Look at the quarterback, and the head coach went over to the player after the play and was like, shit, man, that was great.
Has Turd Ferguson done the tight end equivalent of what Will Johnson just did on Saturday? The answer is
you'd have to be Rob Gronkowski destroying people at training camp. It would have to look like that. It's just like, come on now, guys. Zay Jones ran a great route. Watch Will Johnson's eyes. He's following Kyler Murray with his eyes, and he's got Zay Jones in his peripherals, and he's just like, yoink, this is mine.
I'll be taking that.
How many interceptions for Will this year? He's plus 3,000 to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think conservatively, he's going to have 4 or 5 picks this year.
I was going to put the over-under at 3.5.
Oh, I mean, way more than that. I think that's the easiest hammer.
It's one of the hardest things to do in football is interceptions.
They had one scrimmage, and he's thrown to one time, and he has an interception. I don't. People are going to say you're overreacting. Okay, watch this kid live. Go to State Farm Stadium this weekend. Watch him live. I mean, he's a freak show. It's all about health. If his health is okay, what's his? All right, Bo. We fast forward. He's healthy this entire year. What kind of year does he have?
He has a great year. I think he's upwards of 12 to 14 passes broken up and 3 to 4, 5 interceptions.
Like a couple of touchdowns in there.
You know what? The biggest thing too would be is if he has early success, if he sets the tone. And I'm not saying like Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner had an absurd rookie year. It was 20 pass breakups. He was insane. Great. He was awesome. But if he's able to divide the field, if he's able to take away a section of the field, and then you have this defense, it's going to do so much for what Nick Rollis and this defense can do.
They have not had a player of his caliber under Gannon. Like Max Melton's a physical freak. He's long. He's super fast. He's athletic. But like Will has like his cover abilities are just elite. They're just he's an elite cover corner, and he's supposedly super effing smart. He's going to come into this league, and he's going to make people look really dumb. And so I don't think it's dumb to point out that they took a tight end, like the 5th tight end, over the number 1 corner in the draft. Like, thank you. We haven't had enough of that. We've had a lot of Andy Isabella over DK Metcalf, not the opposite.
I don't think there's like the conversations that are being had aren't of this world. They're just not about the cornerback position in this draft. I just saw that Travis Hunter is CB4 on the Jags. He's wide receiver 2, which is fine. CB4 on his own team. So he's gonna play sparingly in the defensive secondary. And then you have Jahdae Barron, who is a nickel corner. And then you have Maxwell Harrison, who's hurt. It's something else like that. Maxwell Harrison, who I think projected as a 2nd-round pick for most of pre-draft season. And then you have Will Johnson, who is definitively better than Maxwell Harrison at the college level, playing, arguably at a tougher at Michigan versus Kentucky. I mean, Will Johnson is by far the best corner in this draft.
Get your super chats in because we're going into overtime. 436 watching live. Hammer that like button. We welcome all of our friends on our many streaming partners as you check on our fine work of our many peers at gophnx.com as we go around the room with the Poverty NFC West from LA to San Francisco. How about this tweet? Adam Schefter, not carrying the water for San Fran. Isaac Garendo is expected to miss a few weeks with a shoulder injury. And then Kevin Givens, who you may not know who he is, I'm going to tell you here in a second, suffered a pec injury and will be out a while. Pec injuries, like, usually are season enders. Kevin Givens, he's not a staple on their defensive line, but he was going to be asked to be this year because, I don't know, they lost the rest of their quality defensive line that went to the Super Bowl. This is a player that had 3.5 sacks, 28 years old out of Penn State, has played upwards of over 40 games in the last several seasons for San Francisco. They thought he could be a bridge to Alfred Collins, and he's gone. This team that was already super fraudulent. I mentioned what Albert Breer wrote on Monday Morning Quarterback. Just like they need their rookie class to be like the greatest thing ever because outside of the players that McCaffrey, Trent Williams, Kittle, Debo's gone, Fred Warner, that's their team. They got it's the most top-heavy roster in the NFL. And if you want to throw in Purdy in that, God help you. They got about 6 or 7 guys, and then it just falls off a flipping cliff. So, again, these are the kind of moves that people will brush this off nationally. This is the kind of stuff that will cost them games during the year, unequivocally.
Well, I think that Christian McCaffrey is going to be back. It's going to be 2023 Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he had to go under cutting-edge, treatment for his Achilles, and he's going to be close to 30, but everything tells me he's going to be back because that's usually how the NFL goes. Usually, like when you start to decline, you're able to jumpstart things again because you're Christian McCaffrey and Shanahan and all of these wide receivers. Did they sign Robbie Chosen Anderson?
They sure did. I got a text message before the show. I don't know the validity of this. That Andy Isabella, got hurt fielding punts at practice for the 49ers. I'm looking right here. Let's see here. Andy Isabella fielding punts got hurt by himself. I don't know if that's true or not. That he was it on the practice field and just got hurt.
When you are signing some of Steve Keim's worst hits,
the worst of the worst,
and you still have those expectations of people's going, well, Niners probably going to win the NFC West and be a team that's going to be in the conversation for the conference championship game. It's like, guys, their offseason says completely different. They are not a team that is trending back from a fourth place finish last year.
Here it is. This isn't where I got the info, but it's been confirmed via Brad, who's the Niner guy on Twitter. Andy Isabella visibly frustrated after appearing to tweak something, fielding punts on the practice field. All right, listen, we do this a lot. We go through depth charts and we go through rosters and things. Christian McCaffrey is 29, but he might as well be 39. Okay. George Kittle. Does anybody know how George Kittle is? He's 31. He's going to be 32 during the season. Trent Williams is 37 years old. Okay. He just turned 37. That'll work out. Kyle Juszczyk on their team is 34 years old. Okay.
Who cares?
Then we go. Yeah. I mean, he's like a featured player in their offense. Nick Bosa is the oldest 27, soon to be 28-year-old in the NFL. Fred Warner is going to be 29 this year. It is over for them. Over. Look at their roster. It's awful. Like, here are their defensive tackles. Jordan Elliott, Kevin Givens is gone. Alfred Collins and CJ West. The Cardinals.
I've heard good things about CJ West. I've read some good things about the Indiana product. He was
sure he'll be in the top 100 fraudulently. I'm sure they'll just put him in there. I want the Cardinals to throw on everybody this year. You have my blessing. Go to SoFi and run 13 personnel and run James Conner into the ground on that defensive front.
Levi or SoFi?
Yeah, Levi. Excuse me, Levi Stadium.
I love it so much. Every day, they're just churning that roster because they're like, these guys can't play. Oh, the crop of guys we brought in, they can't play either. But championship. I don't understand it.
I do think Seattle not making a lot of headway. Like, I think they're going to be competitive just because I think the coach is solid. I don't know how good Sam Darnold is going to be, but like,
defense can play anywhere,
right? I'll tell you what right now.
You need that offense to be a little dysfunctional.
I'll tell you what right now. Week 1, Niners at Seahawks. Seahawks were winning that game. It's like one of the easiest lines to predict. I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle held them to under 10 points in that game. Would you? Like, if you had to tease a line for the Niners Week 1 point total against Seattle with Ricky Pearsall, who isn't practicing, Juwan Jennings, who's missing practice, old man Kittle. Like, I saw something recently where like Kittle and Trent Williams were walking out like some, not UFC fighter, but like a MMA fighter. And it's just like, just go do that. Be done with football. You want to do those things, go and be done. Because I'm going to tell you right now, your team's about to be done. Your team will be irrelevant. We're going to get you off. I can't wait till they're flexed off of national TV at the end of the year. Get them out of my life. They've had their run. It's over. You don't pay Brock Purdy $60 million and stay relevant. I'm sorry.
They got what's coming to them. It feels like it really does. But they've got that cupcake schedule. Can they navigate it? Can they flood it up?
Come on, Browns. Come on, Giants. Let's go. Come on,
Diet Cola, $9.99 super chat. We'd already started getting into the super chats, right?
Let's do it.
All right. Diet Cola, how much playing time y'all expect Will Johnson to play in the preseason since now he's listed as starting defensive back? I think he'll get a couple series this preseason.
I think he'll play the first defensive series this Saturday at State Farm Stadium.
Keeping it going. $10 for Schaff. I still have a couple spots in the fantasy league. I know several podcast listeners wanted to play. Let me know here or in the Discord under fantasy football. It'll be fun.
We appreciate you, Schaff. Schaff was out Red and White scrimmage. He's going to be out at Gila on the 28th. We want to see you guys there. Even if you're not playing the fantasy league, by the way, I have people asking me, come out. We're doing an open Q&A. Bo and I for an hour. Let it rip. Ask us anything. We're going to be fielding questions, having a blast. This community means so much to us. And I can't believe it's August. We get to do pre and post game shows with our guy Britton Golden. We got Brian Baldinger coming back. We got a lot of fun surprises coming up. So it's gonna be a blast of a season. Bees, $2. Requesting a Niner rant from JV for the culture. I think I just fulfilled that. We appreciate it.
Yeah, check. Bees, $2. Our scouting department cooked so hard. Salute.
I mean, they need some guys to, Bo, I think you would agree with this, to hit the Pro Bowl, all pro echelon. But like, have they had any like significant misses of guys like who can't play? Like Keim had those every year where it's just like this guy, Myjai Sanders, Cameron Thomas are not NFL players. You know, Rosen, not an NFL player. I think like the closest thing that we've had to that, I mean, Elijah Jones has been underwhelming, but he was hurt last year, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. They have not had in 3 draft classes guys that are just like, this guy stinks. This guy can't play.
How about Amadeus? Why are some people saying his play was staged? SMH. Whose play?
So our guy, Walter Mitchell, who formerly of Revenge of the Birds, writing for a different site now, alluded to the fact that he thought it might have been staged to get some excitement, which obviously we disagree with. We were there and talked to people afterward. It was very real, but that's Walter Mitchell's opinion, who we do respect, but just disagree with. And then I think like people were coming after him. So don't come after Walter. He's an excellent writer and he's a big time.
I agree. I disagree though with Walter, his conspiracy theory there. I don't know who it would benefit. I don't know why. If you had a ball hawking corner, I think you want to keep that more under wraps and you wouldn't want to stage something like that.
I mean, like you're around the team every day. It's pretty apparent how much respect he's gotten from the veterans on this team, is it not? I mean, like he's with Buddha all the time. He's with JG. He's with the best players.
I don't think you in your biggest non-preseason event of camp, having your quarterback throw a pick, that's not something you want to like draw up.
Let me ask you a question. We fast forward to next summer and we do our top 10 Cardinals on the team. Is he on it?
Yeah. I think there would be enough to where we have him trending that way if it's not just definitive. Jonathan Castro, $4.99. Who would you guys prefer to start, Rabbit or Jalen Thompson, or can we see 3 safety sets this year? Either way, the defense is going to eat.
Gannon talked about this in his presser, and Rabbit is clearly behind Jalen and Buddha. And for everybody that was quick to write off Jalen Thompson, including myself, he makes a lot of money. He was hurt last year and was not himself. 2 years ago, he's the MVP of this defense. He has had an excellent training camp. The Cardinals are going to run 3 safety sets. Buddha can play near the line of scrimmage, and then Jalen and Taylor Demerson, who are excellent in coverage, can play the back end. So here's all I'll say about Jalen Thompson. Kudos to him for making all of his money in his contract when safeties are being cut left and right, for playing high-level football for 2 different regimes. You know, a lot of people put him in mock trade scenarios. So Jalen Thompson is going to help this team this year. But Rabbit Taylor Demerson, for sure. I think he's the future at the position. I still believe that.
My guy Donnie Druin wants to get to the bottom of the 3 safety sets. He loves it. It is something that he's asked JG, Nick Rollis, the players like Buddha Baker. I think they're excited about it. Like Buddha's comments were like, yeah, we got that, but I don't want to talk too much about it. Like the 3 safety look is something that I think that they want to do in this defense, but every level they got guys that are playing different roles, multiple roles, or they're doing some little wrinkle to it. And that's on the very back end with Rabbit Taylor Demerson. What did JG say as far as Rabbit? He's too talented he's forcing his way onto the field. So, he's going to have an expanded role to some capacity. I think the same would go for Trey Benson on the offense. I know you see the comments from James Conner after the red and white on Saturday saying, like, we've got 2 RB1s. It's like that might be hyperbole, but Trey Benson up about almost 10 pounds, still quick as ever, got a year under his belt. Like, he's going to be a guy that you're going to have a tough time not putting on the football field. So you got a lot of those guys that are forcing the issue.
There are positions on the team where if you were a high enough draft pick and you've got a skill set, like you can emerge from, given the vulnerability of a position group. I think like the Cardinals had taken a receiver high, that player would be playing a lot this year. And then there are positions like safety where it's very difficult to crack given who is in front of you and the respect that they have. I mean, they're 2 of the highest paid players on the team. There are position groups that are just like, you know, cinder block walls, concrete walls where you're just not making it in. And that's tough. Like, I think, you know, give credit to Denzel Burke, who has leapfrogged a very competitive cornerback room. And I know Elijah, you know, the injury in the offseason to Sean Murphy-Bunting, but then they made the pick after the fact that they knew that. But yeah, they're just, that secondary in particular is just flipping loaded. This defense, you know, I texted somebody this weekend. I'm like, it is going to be a crime against humanity, a travesty if they're not a top 10 defense conservatively. They have just too much talent and they're too well coached. We can say what we want about the offense. But Kyler Murray is going to be able to play so free this year because he knows like that unit is going to just keep people out of the end zone. even with the personnel deficiencies, Bo, that they had last year, they did a tremendous job holding teams to field goals. And that's with Gardeck and some of these other, players that we had questions about their ceiling. Now it's like, look out.
Well, you get packages or defensive setups where you got JT, who before was the guy that took the ball away the most consistently. You got Rabbit, who you got a lot of, projects to do it. He did it at Texas Tech. And Will Johnson. And opposing offenses are going to have to keep tabs on those guys because they are very good and have a good sense for the ball, a nose for the ball. And if you get them all on the field at the same time, I think that just it bodes well for taking the football away for the Cardinals on defense. I'm
going to tell you right now, Taylor Demerson would start for everybody in the division, probably not named Seattle. He'd start in San Francisco and he'd start in L.A. Start in L.A. I mean, we start playing that game of who would start where. Cardinals have a lot of players that would start for several teams in the division.
Yeah.
And that are backups right now. So,
yeah, I mean, I think you can forecast, as excited as we are for the Cardinals' final 53, you're going to see for the first time in a long time a lot of familiar faces exited the organization because they were, just roster casualties, resurface on other starting 53 or 53-man rosters.
Yeah. Be interesting. It's going to be a dogfight.
Before is like Cardinals, you get cut, and then the next thing you know, it's fries in the bag, dude.
Or it's like practice squad. I mean, like Michael Carter, practice squad last year. It'd be like that at multiple positions. So, game week, how's it feel? How's it feel that we're at a game week?
Feels unbelievable. Can't wait. Can't wait for Saturday night at State Farm Stadium. It's going to be vibes are going to be at an all-time high, and we're going to have our first post game that day. We're going to have then the practice next week. We're going to be there, joint practice. That's a week from today. I mean, a week from this week, we're going to Denver.
Bo and I, Noah, are headed out east to watch the joint practice and cover it. And I think we're the only media outlet that's going to do that here in Phoenix.
I doubt that.
No. Cam Cox? You think Cam Cox is out there?
I have no idea.
I was asking people. Don't I doubt that. I was asking people in the press room over the weekend. People were like, we're not going to Denver.
Really?
Maybe they just didn't want to tell me they were going to Denver. How about
that? Yeah. It's like, hey guys, you said you weren't going to be here.
You're telling me you doubt that after you didn't fly to the owners' meetings and there was nobody there?
I know, but last year in Indy, which is a little bit of more of a trek, maybe because it was 2 days. Who knows? Keeping it going, $5 with Shaft.
Somebody told me they're not going because it's only 1 day.
Okay.
Not this show.
No. If you leave me a message in Discord, it may take a day to respond. I'm locked up and can't send anything right now. I have you down, Omar102. Look at Shaft. Just getting it done.
It's a full-time job running this league for Shaft. Yeah. We appreciate you, my friend.
Commish.
That's right. Like this video, by the way. Again, goal is 500 likes here. What a show. Recapping Will Hernandez. Feel like pretty confident he's going to sign a contract with the Arizona Cardinals, assuming everything went okay today. And stash him for later this season. Walter Nolen trending in the right direction. Will Johnson exploding at Cardinal camp. Vibes are at an all-time high. I haven't even played a game yet, Bo.
No, they haven't, but soon, and that's why you got their depth chart today. What's your biggest surprise on the depth chart? Drop a comment underneath the show here, not the chat, but a comment, and of course, we'll get to it. And tomorrow, camp restarts out there in Glendale. Don't miss out on any of the action. Make sure you're following along at PHNX_Cardinals, Twitter, Instagram. Noah and I will be out there. Follow me at Bo Brack and follow Johnny at Johnny Venerable. Check it out. But in the meantime, have a great rest of your Monday until 4:30 tomorrow. We'll talk to you soon. PHNX Cardinals.
We all silly like the mayor.